What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another repaint video here on the channel. The video today, we're going to be taking on the Mattel Irritator. Now, this guy has been sitting on my workbench for over a month now because I just haven't had any great ideas on how to repaint it or what to repaint it to look like. Nothing has really stuck out, nothing has inspired me, and that is when my friend and fellow Jurassic junkie, Michael Manns, sent me a message over on Instagram. And he sent me a picture of the Irritator next to the Jurassic Park 3 Camo Extreme Spinosaurus, you know, the brown one with the black and blue stripes. And he said that that would make a really awesome repaint, and he was planning on doing it. And I said, dude, that's a great idea. I want to do that too. So here we are, right? We've got the Irritator, and we've got all the paints that we're going to need. Now, I have done this repaint before on the channel with the Legacy Collection Spinosaurus. You can find that video here and watch that one if you want, but that's all done with the airbrush. And now I understand that some of you may not have an airbrush and you kind of feel maybe overwhelmed or intimidated by the airbrush, but don't be, because this video is going to be for you. There is no airbrush required for this repaint. We're going to be doing it all by hand with paints that you can get at Walmart or any craft store. So we're going to be using matte black, territorial beige, bark brown, cool blue, and moon yellow, which is optional for the little tiny eyeball at the end. But if you're careful enough with your fine tip brush, you can paint around it with the black. You won't even have to worry about painting the eyeball, but so that's just an optional color. So these 5 colors are all you're going to need to do this repaint, and of course you're going to need some matte Mod Podge to seal all the painted areas in. But we're going to be playing off that brown factory plastic, so we're not going to be repainting the entire body, just the parts that have the dark and light blue spots on it, so we can get them down to brown. And that is the bark brown color, which is a perfect match for the brown on that Irritator. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy out of the box, and we're going to get started with this repaint. So the first thing you want to do before you get started is take your bark brown and paint over all the dark and light blue areas on the back part of the dinosaur. Once you're done with that, then you can start cutting in all your black areas. Now at this point, when we're doing the black stripes, you can use the figure as reference. Just find some images on Google, or you can kind of come up with your own design and kind of be creative. I'm kind of just doing that. I'm not really going by what the factory figure looks like from the Hasbro one. I'm just kind of doing my own thing on this thing right here, kind of playing along with the contours of the dinosaur and what it looks like. So I'm not going to do it exactly like I did the Spinosaurus before, or try to make it look anything just like the factory. I'm going to kind of do my own thing on this, and you guys can do that as well. So all the black is done on the Irritator, and now it's time to move on to the blue. And I'm just going to start picking out some of the blue scales on the face. I put some black dots down, and I'm going over those black dots with a little touch of blue. It makes them stand out really well, and they look nice and sharp with that black border around them. These little areas are tricky, so you have to keep your paint thin when you're doing those little thin lines. Here I'm doing the same thing with the scaling. I'm just picking out the scaling with the blue paint. It kind of makes it look cool. It gives it a nice little aquatic pattern. And there's lots of detail on this figure to really pick out. That's what's nice about the scaling on it. The designer did a good job at making the details really sharp in it. So now I'm taking that blue and I'm continuing it on the top part of the sail, the fins on the back of the dinosaur, and I'm going to hit the ridges of those spines on the back. It's going to be a little bit different than what it looks like on the Spinosaurus figure, just because this sail thing that it's got on the back isn't as big, so there's not a whole lot of working room to make it look just like the Camo Extreme version or like the Spinosaurus that I did. So I'm going to hit the ridge of this with that blue. It's going to make it stand out and pop really, really nice. That blue and the black go really, really well together. And I'm going to continue it all the way down the tail, all the way up to the tip. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the blue stripes going down the sail, and when you're doing the stripes, remember to thin your paint down. Start big at the top and get skinnier and skinnier and thinner as you get down to the bottom. Use a nice fine brush for that, and make sure that your paints are thin. It will help with flow and help you get that nice crisp line. And I'm bringing those blue stripes down just a bit down into the black. It gives it that real fierce sort of savage look, and these colors are just popping. They're looking so awesome. So now I'm painting the underside of the belly with Territorial Beige and getting some on a dry brush and doing a nice heavy-handed dry brush all along the bottom part of the belly, all the way down to the tip of the tail. And when we get up to the neck, to get a nice fade that kind of looks like you used an airbrush, you want to heavy hand dry brush the throat area and then get lighter and lighter as you get to the top part of the bottom jaw, and that'll give you a nice gradual fade out into the brown color that the skin is made of. And the final touch is going to be a nice bright dot inside that eyeball to really make the eye pop inside the black socket of the scales. I'm going to seal it up with a couple of coats of Mod Podge, and this dino is ready to rock and roll. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this repaint and you found the information provided useful. If you tried this repaint yourself, please tag me over on Instagram at Ted Brothers. I'd love to see what you guys can come up with. I've got some really awesome Camo Extreme repaints in the works for you guys that I think you're all going to love, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, for more Jurassic Park related content, you know where to find me. Links will be in the description box below. You guys take care, and I will see you in the next video.